Is the re-inclusion of Sam Pitroda back into the Congress fold as its overseas president, is that related to the upcoming visit of Modi to Russia? Well, Russia has announced it. India has not done it yet, but we know that that's going to happen. I believe that recently Dr. S. Jaishankar had flown to Moscow and there were some meetings. So that usually is like a preliminary thing where you set this table that we will be talking about this and then this and this, essentially setting the agenda for a Modi Putin summit. 5 years ago, Modi had visited Moscow, and that was when the S-400 deal was finalized. We all know about that. So now this trip assumes a lot of significance owing to the fact that the two theaters, both places, the people who are losing are the ones that Russia and China are covertly or overtly supporting, meaning Israel is getting the upper hand. And in the direct conflict between Ukraine and Russia, Ukraine is now actually holding the lines, and they are also carrying out some strikes within Russia. Just to give you an idea, Russia has 8 million able bodied men under the age of 25, and this is its future. How many of these will be sent to fight the war is the big question. Thus far, 500,000 or 5 lakhs have perished in the battlefield. One might say that some of them were mercenaries, somewhere from the outlying areas. It doesn't represent the heart of Russia. We can make all these assumptions, but basically what is going to happen is that they may be able to stretch another million or 10 lakh soldiers to go and fight in Ukraine. Remember, Russia always plans for long wars. So, what is the import of this particular trip? Some deals are believed to be in the works, and these things you will know once the deal is signed. But I think there is a message or a request from Narendra Modi to Putin to ask Putin to tell China not to attack India. Because right now, even though it might seem that the NDA is winning its battles here and there, if there is a full-blown invasion from China, I think that's going to mean bad things for India, because it will need to really mobilize its resources. It will take a big hit on the economy. So what is going to happen, we don't know. So Russia is losing, or at least not winning, in Ukraine. It has now been facing some attacks which are believed to be homegrown. So that makes it even more difficult for them to point the fingers at somebody else. So this is Russia's problem. And now US, having sent Nancy Pelosi to meet with the Dalai Lama and also its national security advisor Jake Sullivan to meet with Ajit Doval, they must be thinking, wait a minute, what's going on? Why is India going to meet with Russia? It's also entirely possible that the intent of the meeting or the agenda for the meeting might have been disclosed to America also. Much will depend on how America starts reacting once this trip is official. So that is one part of this thing. Now, the second thing is what is happening in the elections. As more and more data comes in, we are seeing that close to 92% of the Muslim votes were cast. Now, this is just impossible. There are people who are too old, too sick to go and vote. There will be people who might have missed their names in the roster, just like many of the other people have. And there will be women who might not have been able to go. People could be traveling, it could be something else. So, to get a number like 92% beggars belief. And I believe that there has been massive rigging in terms of like voting at some places where you know that even the BJP representatives did not vote for the BJP. That tells you something. That tells you that there might have been rigging there. Remember, now it is beyond doubt that many in the Election Commission office itself have actually abetted some of these practices. So I'm not going to take names, but the way this has played out, if the returning officer and the officials who are monitoring the elections, if they decide to play for one side over the other, for whatever consideration, then even the EVM will not be able to give you a fair result. So first thing that the BJP needs to be doing is cracking the whip in its own election commission. And you have to establish beyond doubt that 25, 30% or 5%, whatever the number is, have been complicit in this, and you need to dismiss them with cause. In fact, they should be stripped of their pensions. Even the state government officials, if they don't do it, then the government has to be put on the mat saying you have basically bribed these people, and this heat needs to come out. And the sooner it does, the better, because just like the Panna Pramukh policy that RSS uses to help BJP, every party worth its salt, ADMK, DMK, Samajwadi Party, BSP, everybody has extensive spreadsheets about each house, each member in the house, which way that member will vote, will the member be able to vote, who is deceased, because all deceased voters still on the rolls are ripe for rigging, right? So these are all things that have to be done. If you don't do that, then basically democracy becomes a mockery. I think this is another thing that the BJP government, for the election commission, it needs to look at that. That is from the administrative point of view. The other one is the party itself needs to get much more serious, and it needs to start working in a way that ensures that every move of theirs is countered with an effective and perhaps even a better counter move. And I cannot emphasize more on the smoking of illegals who are voting now. This needs to be completely reconciled. I told 6-8 months before the elections that the software that will be reconciling your voter card with your Aadhaar card wasn't working well. Many people complained to me, and I made that known. I don't know if anyone was listening, because that was one way to effectively try and limit these dual voting and also people who have dubious citizenship to come and vote. All these things have to be done, and all of them diligently. Until that happens, there is going to be no respite. I'm afraid this is not good news for the BJP, but you will see that based on how they want to take this thing, they could be aggressive or they could be a little bit passive, just to make sure that they lull BJP into a comfort zone. I, for one, don't want to get lulled into it. Thanks for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Don't forget to click on the bell button for notifications. Namaskar.